All right, the biggest question everybody's always asked, did God create bread? The sliced bread, of course, not the regular bread. But or even if God is real in the first place. But right now the biggest question is, will India play Pakistan in the T20 World Cup final, the dilutest form of cricket, which nobody should care, but everybody cares. That's how the world is. But right now, even bigger question is, who the fuck are we? I am Gav, I'm ex Twitter janitor. I was fired recently. He's Bikram. He's ex Twitter engineer. He was also fired. Then we tried our hands at something else more we thought we'll be good at. But then, as you know, nothing really happened to Imran Khan. We were behind that failed assassination attempt. We got fired from there as well very quickly. So now we are on the internet because we found out that on the internet you can say anything and anybody can become popular. As we know, TGC is super popular talking about cricket and they're not even Indian. Okay, we are Indian. So their strategy is to talk about India. Let's start talking. Our strategy was to talk about Australia, but then Australia got kicked out, so we don't know. We are back to talking about India. So we're just hoping we're gonna get popular this way, right? And we're gonna wear brown, so we can't be white, and we're not pretty. Now, everybody's talking about India will play Pakistan in the final, but just before that happens, we have this little island in front of us, the same island which ruled India for almost 300 years, and they left in 1947 after Gandhi kept crying, and they just said, like, we're just leaving because nothing else to steal from them. From us, from Indians. Now, can we beat the English just the way they did in that great movie which went for the Oscars, Lagan? I think everybody in the dressing room is watching Lagan on repeat, on the loop, right? And can we actually show this Gora people that we can beat them? I think this is racist, but when we call Gora people, that's not racist, apparently. I don't know how. Okay, anyway, that's for another podcast. So, let's talk about India. What are India's? I've broken it down into strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and strengths. I think you will be taking more general approach. So let me go on this thing, and then we'll talk about England. I feel the strength is Sky and Hardik. I know Hardik has not really, been the best, but the fact he's a very good fielder, he can be selected just for bowling. His bowling is 3-4 quarter overs. Then he can actually fire with the bat as well. So I still feel Sky, and Sky is the obvious one right now because Sky is the greatest batsman in the history of the last 1 month of cricket, right? So that's how it works, right? That's how it works. That's how everybody's writing about Sky, right? So Sky and Hardik are the strengths. It's the obvious strength. When it comes to weaknesses, Bikram, where do we start? Well, let's start right at the top. KL. KL is a stat padder, is a world-renowned stat padder, cannot perform in a big game. So this is a big game, so expect KL not to perform or stat pad. Rosha, I think right now Rosha cannot perform point blank, just cannot perform at all. Now he got hit on the hand. This will be another excuse for his failure, but I don't know. Then Bhuvi bowling death overs. I don't know why they're still giving Bhuvi death overs. In the crunch game, he is definitely going to flop if he's bowling anything from 17th to 20th over. And the big match jitters, India's record in the ICC tournament since 2013 when they won the Champions Trophy or something like that. So the last 9-10 years, they're bowling, batting, catching, fielding. Whenever they do any of these aspects, there's this amazing, overwhelming fear of failure. And I think that's a big fucking weakness for us. Okay, even the crowd in Melbourne, oh, sorry, right now in Adelaide will be overwhelmingly Indian blue. I think that actually ends up working against India than actually in favor of India. Now, when you talk about opportunities, I feel this is an opportunity for the top three, KL, Rosha, and Kohli, to actually show up, to stand up and live up to their billing of the greatest fucking batsman in the history of history, right? And I don't know if this will happen, but let's hope one of them at least performs when it really matters. Not a stat pad score, not a 40 ball 50, genuine match winning innings that Sky has been playing, that Hardik has been playing in 2022, and as a captain also, as a bowler also, as a fielder also. Now, the threat is, I mean, this is a genuine threat, Bikram. Don't take it lightly. That Rosha's injury turns out to be a false one, and he recovers in time. I don't want Rosha to play. I want Virat Kohli to captain, which will not happen. But again, you can dream, right? I know somebody said, which was just me, which is like a lot more than dreams, nightmares do actually come true. So that's what's probably going to happen. But I think it's a conspiracy by Rosha's very close beef dumpling chugging buddy, Pant. He actually got the throwing machine to swing the ball, reverse swing the ball, which he normally does not do, which actually hit his arm. Now, because if Rosha is not going to play, guess who's going to play? The beef chugging partner, Pant. And then the whole debate about DK or Pant, DK or Pant will just die in its wake. And both DK and Pant can play and Rosha can sit out. Probably India will have a better chance. If Rosha is not that he's been pulling up, as they say, if let's talk about like Ravi Shastri and the obvious stuff that they're not pulling any trees, are they? I like how they all use the most obvious axioms, proverbs in the history. There's nothing new ever comes up. That's why I miss not Mahendra Singh Sidhu.
Mahendra
Navjot Singh
Singh
Sidhu.
Sidhu.
Navjot Singh Sidhu used to come up with such amazing stuff, which is completely delightful. There's nothing I can talk of. All right, I've spoken enough. Over to you. What do you think India's strength, weaknesses, or in general, what do you think about? And then we'll talk about England.
So, yeah, I mean, I think you already talked about the strengths, and there are so many weaknesses that we can, I think, just dedicate a 5 hour podcast on that and analyze this. But I think it's just it's there to see, right? We have seen all the matches which India has played in this year's World Cup, and it has always come to Sky, or in some cases Kohli, to actually bail the team out. And Kohli is he has gone back to his old playing pattern where and it is working for him. I'm not saying that it's wrong, but he's doing the same thing that he plays for first 30 balls and just scores a run a ball at 110 or 120 strike rate, and then tries to at the end tries to make up the strike rate. And that has worked for him for all the time, so it good for him that he's doing it. But the problem here is we don't get a we don't get a quick start in most of the matches. Against Zimbabwe, we played out the first over as maiden. I mean, that's the level of batsmanship we are having right now. And so that is the major concern, because I think our bowling has been holding up decently. They have been doing a good job so far in the tournament, even against South Africa, where we scored very less runs, and we scored whatever we scored was because of Sky. And God forbid if Sky fails in one of the matches, I don't know like what will happen. So that is the major concern, that our batting is not clicking, especially the opening, and even in the lower order. I think we have been not be able to finish the matches. So it again comes on Sky and to some extent Kohli. So that is the major concern for me, for India.
Fair enough. A lot of points that you picked up were very relevant. But let's just talk about England a little bit here, because we don't want to have a 5 hour Joe Rogan podcast right now. So, in fact, I sent you the other day, Lex Friedman had a podcast of 7 hours and 43 minutes.
Yeah.
Boy, they must have taken some loo breaks at least and eaten some goddamn food and probably gotten laid in between. All right. So let's talk about England. England has one thing that India doesn't have in big matches, which is courage, right? Now, like New Zealand also has courage. No, let's not say New Zealand has courage. I say New Zealand has calm. But let's talk about courage. And I feel England batting might not have completely fired in this tournament, but they have the batting unit, uh, which is more preferred. I was something right now. I will take more English batting lineup in a semi-final to perform. I'll bank on them more. Their bowling and their fielding is fairly good as well. So destroy any team any day, and particularly in a semi-final. So I am definitely picking on the strengths England. They do have weaknesses. Their unfortunately the weakness is Butler, the captain, right? Because Owen Morgan unfortunately just completely stopped seeing the ball. He went blind, like completely blind. He was already high school, but then he went blind, couldn't see
Yeah.
anything. So he had to just fire himself and retire himself and become what everybody becomes, right? Like DK, Pandit. He goes on the ESPN or whatever Sky Sports they have, became one of those people, and now he just talks. Yup, 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 which we are doing as well. So everybody's trying to make money out of that. So he's doing the same thing. Now, when it talks about you talk about the apart from the opportunity also for Butler and Livingston. Livingston has been a colossal flop, right? Like Babar Azam in this tournament, and we expected Livingston to hit these towering sixes, which will go out of the stadium, probably end up at the airport and then in somebody's bag and end up in some other country on an illegal visa or something. But nothing has happened like that. He's probably made like 20 odd runs or some shit like that. Now then we talk about threat. Threat is obviously Sky. Threat is obviously Hardik. And I also believe Bhuvi and Arshdeep destroying England's top order, because what I hear right now is that the Adelaide pitch is going to be very good. I think it's definitely going to have swing earlier in the day. And everybody knows Indian people like Adelaide, and Kohli definitely loves Adelaide, right? So, and I've
Right.
lived in Adelaide, by the way, as if you're aware that when I was 18 years old, that's where I went. Um, to Adelaide. Although my luggage ended up in Auckland, we talked about in the other podcast, only half of it, not all of it. It did come back in a couple of days. So that's, I do have very interesting memories. And the first day when I worked in my life, the very first day when I got paid was also at the Adelaide Oval. It was not exactly at the Adelaide Oval, it was right next to Adelaide Oval. So the people who were coming from Adelaide Oval, and then right next to it, there was this little place, and that's where the convention was. And I was actually just serving champagne. And I think I broke like 15 glasses. Then they put me in the back and just like, okay, just help out with the bar, with the back, with the bar. But I got paid like, and I was 18, that was more than 20 years ago. And I got paid like almost $200 for breaking 15 champagne glasses, practically doing nothing. And that's the difference between a first world country and the third world. That was the whole point of this podcast. All right, Vikram, what do you think? That took a different direction. What do you think about England? Because I'm favoring England, and then, I mean, you can tell me about England, then you can say like, why do you think, who do you think has a bit of an upper hand, as Ravi Shastri would say.
So yeah, I think just going by the form and the players available, I think it would be stupid to say that India is a favorite, because there are so many holes in Indian lineup. I know England lost to Ireland, and but ever since then they have been doing really well. They defeated the in-form team in the tournament, New Zealand, so they deserve to be in the semi-final. So I think the weaknesses are obviously their batting lineup. They have been really inconsistent, and they need to fire big time. Not big time, but at least they need to score, decently, because again Indian batting lineup is so fragile. So I believe that even if we are chasing, if India is chasing, even 160 will be difficult. And if we are setting a target, even if we reach 160, that'll be a good score, because England's bowling is really good. They have been bowling really well, and the matchups in the middle overs against Adil Rashid and Moeen Ali, against Virat Kohli, I don't know. I mean, he's not able to hit spinners. This is very evident now. He got out even in the Zimbabwe match against a spinner. So that's going to be a problem for India. So, but we are talking about England. So coming back, I think the major problem which England can face is in their batting lineup, because I think their bowling is really sorted, and the fielding is anyway very good. So they need to have consistent. They need to have good opening. Butler has been going on and off. He scored some runs, but yeah, he was very lucky in the last match. So I think for England the major concern is their batting, and their strength is all I think fielding. Sorry, bowling and fielding. So yeah, that's my take.
So you also backing England to win, right?
Correct. Yeah.
All right, we're plugging in our sponsors. We finally got sponsors. Lit Chocolate, made in France. They are from Switzerland. And I don't know why they're sponsoring cricket, but they are. So that's that. Only for rich people, obviously. I don't know how we have podcasts with like 500 odd subscribers, trying to like sell chocolates, which is only for rich people. But that's how it works, right? Very few people are there anyway. So they're hoping some rich people will buy it, and eventually we'll get royalties. You can actually say, I think there's a like coupon code, which is blunt pass, you'll get 20% discount. That's how they sell it. Joe Rogan is like, say, right, Joe Rogan, you'll get 20%. That's how they sell it, right? So eventually, yeah.
If it doesn't work, then you write in comments, like if it doesn't
Write
work,
in
the
comments,
coupon
please, hate
code.
comments. We need more hate comments. Like the last time somebody called me out, but like he was saying like the pundit, but like he's the pundit, but he was talking about me. And then he was also saying like, how much he did not like us, but he said our podcast should be far longer. And I'm like, which one is it? Like, which one is it? Then he was talking about how we don't care about the defense. And I was like, nobody cares about the defense. This is T20. And I was like, he was kept going on and on about defense. Like, and then he was talking about how great India is. And I'm like, in general, like, I was like, what with this patriotism, BJPism, what is happening in this thing? But anyway, I like that comment. It was very fulsome comment. I, in fact, responded to it as well. Now, both of us are going for England's victory against India. I think this will be a bit of a damn squeak for everybody who's already bought the goddamn tickets because of TGC to the MCG for the India-Pakistan match. I think it's going to be all Indian Pakistani people at the MCG, and New Zealand and England going to end up in the final. This is going to be like biggest disaster in the history of cricket, because now everybody, I mean, if you read the newspaper, I mean, it's just embarrassing, Vikram. Like, everybody just keeps supporting India. Everybody, like, AB de Villiers, we want this final. Shane Watson, we want India Pakistan final. I mean, like everybody just says all good things about India. And then at least I liked one little quote by Moin Ali. No, he didn't say anything bad about India. Don't even expect anybody to say. He just said something bad about England. He said everybody thinks everybody keeps talking about how England is the greatest, best white ball team, but we've only won one tournament. So let us win few more. This one, then we can talk about how. And then India, which has won jack nothing, still everybody talks about that we are the greatest team. We are the greatest team. I know we won the first ever ICC T20, right? Did we win after that? I think once more or something, right?
First one.
Did we
First
win
one.
for just the first?
No,
Just
just the
it,
first.
right?
Yeah,
Just the
yeah.
first one. Still, we are the greatest. I don't know why we're the greatest. We're the fattest, we're the richest, but we're not the greatest. So, me and Bikram
We
were
won.
both fired from assassination and Twitter, and now we are here before we get fired and banned from here. We're going to back England and New Zealand also. Now that we didn't talk about it, we're going to England New Zealand final. What are you saying, Bikram? Final word, and we'll wrap this thing up.
Yeah, I think England and New Zealand will make it to the final. And yeah, if it doesn't turns out, yeah, who cares? Wait, this is internet. We can
Who
say
cares,
anything.
right? It'll be funny. But yeah, we'll see all blue and green in the final in the spectators anyway, which will be the most funniest sight ever, which will never ever happen in football situation. But it can happen in case Argentina and Brazil were both in the semi-final. Then that actually had happened in when Germany won in 2014. In the final, it was only Argentinians and Brazilians. But at least Argentina was in the final, right? So all the Brazilian crowd was there. That's fine. But in the country, which is Australia, you won. And but this is the funniest, Vikram, because in a country like Australia doesn't qualify at all, even for the semi-finals. In the final, it shows up England and New Zealand, and all the spectators are from India and Pakistan and Bangladesh. This is just the most bizarrest fucking thing in the history of sport, man.
No, I
That's
think
what
people
cricket
will
does,
sell the
man.
tickets, but yeah,
Yeah, I
it,
know. Many people will sell, but somebody will buy, right? Who Aussie is not going to pay, right? Who's going to pay?
yeah,
Hmm.
Some really, really rich English people, right? All the Poms and the Barmy Army obviously is going to be there.
the
Who's at least
Birmingham.
Barmy Army still continues to troll everybody. I like that fact at least. Yeah, at least because they're not until they're on the BCCI's payroll, it'll be all gone. So, right for now, your grandmother, your house cat, house
Yeah.
cow, reptiles, anybody, house elephant, anybody can subscribe and like and subscribe. This is me, Gav. This is Bikram. It's over and out from us. This is our show. Bye bye.
Bye.